The Dragon Kingdom. Missing Child Search Chronicle VI, LQAI translation. 1. The plan to infiltrate the Valatian Empire illegally had at last entered its final stage. Emilia. So then, since Petra-chan wrapped up the talks with Diodora, and Otto-kun properly said I'm sorry and apologized, they'll introduce us to a method for illegal entry. Beatrice. While Betty wasn't aware, things became awfully complicated, in fact. Emilia. That's true, sorry. I really wanted to consult Beatrice too, but... Saying that, Emilia gently stroked Beatrice's hair as she dozed on the bed. Beatrice accepted the feel of Emilia's palm. Part of it was that she had opened her heart to her, but more than that, she seemed listless about doing anything, and watching that was very painful. Until she could have her reunion with Subaru, who had been flung away, Beatrice had been spending her time with an energy-saving mindset, sleeping for most of the day. It was because they could only choose this time, while Beatrice was awake, that the matter of the scuffle in the commercial city of Pikoyudat had ended up being reported after the fact. Scuffle, that was how Emilia chose to describe the events of this city. Emilia. It was a scuffle Otto-kun hadn't been able to resolve for years, so I think it being resolved was really good. It's the second good thing about this time. Beatrice. If Otto's homecoming is the second, what was the first, I suppose? Emilia. That I could confirm my knight is cherished by all sorts of people. As for the search for the vanished Subaru and Rem, Emilia and the others were aiming for illegal entry as their method, while from Kararagi in the west, Anastasia and company were trying a different approach. The hole created by Emilia's camp being absent from the kingdom would be filled by their supporters, beginning with Anna Rose and Clind, and no one tried to stop Emilia. Of course, they offered cautions and advice, but no one opposed that they had to bring Subaru back. That made Emilia happy. Emilia. Everyone knew properly that Subaru is always working hard. Beatrice. Subaru is a hard worker, in fact. The bad part about Subaru is that he doesn't quite look the part, I suppose. And so, Betty understands Emilia's feelings, in fact. Emilia. Hee, right? With Beatrice understanding, Emilia felt warm and fuzzy. Even if she tried hard at looking for good things, there were only about that many which could distract from the worry over Subaru and the others being gone, so they had to work hard. Surely, Subaru was also doing his best so he could return to Emilia and the rest. Emilia. When we go to get him, Subaru might cry from being surprised. Beatrice. In that case, making him cry soon would be better, I suppose. Emilia. Yeah, that's right. Very soon our preparations to slip into the Empire will be in order. Just as they were saying that, the sound of someone knocking on the door echoed through the bedroom. When Emilia turned around, from beyond the door came Frederica's voice. Emilia-sama. And then, Frederica, would now be all right? There are a few things about what comes next that I would like to discuss. Emilia. Yes, it's fine. Beatrice is awake right now too, so I think it's just right. Frederica. Beatrice-sama as well. It seems the timing was good. Hearing Emilia's reply, Frederica slowly stepped into the bedroom. Seeing her figure, Emilia softly widened her eyes with an awe. It was because Frederica, whom they usually only saw in her maid uniform, had changed on this occasion into a different getup, something like men's clothing that did not sacrifice neatness. At Emilia's surprise, Frederica faintly smiled and said, Frederica, since we must conceal our identities in the Empire, Petra selected an outfit that would change the usual impression. I hope it does not look strange. Emilia. Not strange at all. It looks really good on you. Right, Beatrice? Beatrice. If Petra chose it, there's no mistake, in fact. To Betty's eyes as well, it doesn't look bad, I suppose. Frederica. Thank you very much. Praised, Frederica brought a hand to her cheek and blushed faintly. However, she soon cleared her throat with an ahem and switched gears. Frederica. Enough about myself. I must ask both Emilia-sama and Beatrice-sama as well to act, so that your positions will not be known in the Empire. I trust you understand. Emilia, of course. We're going to be entering illegally. If my identity is exposed, that would be a big problem, right? Frederica. Yes. There is a high possibility it would develop into a diplomatic issue, to put it plainly. If your identity were revealed, Emilia-sama, it could even lead to war. Emilia. That's a heavy responsibility, but it's okay. I'll do my best and us. Frederica, Emilia-sama, what is the matter? Frederica worried over Emilia, who had grimaced and trailed off. To that concern, Emilia shook her head with a no and said, Emilia, I'm fine. It's just hiding who I am means telling a lie, right? When I think about that, my tummy suddenly starts aching. Beatrice, if this is how you are just from thinking about telling a lie without even telling one, the road ahead is worrisome, in fact. Frederica, indeed, Emilia-sama must swallow this expedient. Emilia, it'll be fine, I promise. This is a necessary lie. I'm sure Puck won't get angry and will forgive me. It was Puck who had taught Emilia that lying was bad, to be honest. Granted, in Puck's case, it seemed to have been advice based on his thinking that Emilia was ill-suited to lying. And from Emilia's own thinking as well, lying was something bad. Even so, as she herself had said, this time it was a necessary lie for Subaru and the others. Emilia, so bring it on. I'll tell any lie about 10 of them. Frederica, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but 10 will not be necessary. In the Empire, you shall go by the name Emily. And as for Emily's position, she is the bodyguard to a young lady traveling to the Empire incognito. Yes, please remember that. Emilia. Emily, leave it to me. I'm used to that lie. Puffing out her chest, Emilia answered, brimming with confidence, together with a great sense of relief. Emily was the first alias Emilia had ever claimed in her life. She remembered that she had given that name when she first met Frederica. When she had left her home forest, Emilia had spent a few days as Emily. Emilia, so I'm used to it. And about this bodyguard thing, Frederica, your purpose is to protect Petraja-sama and her sister, Beatrice-sama. Beatrice, I see, so that's how it is, I suppose. Emilia, how is it? From Frederica's explanation, Beatrice immediately looked like she understood, and Emilia tilted her head at that. Beatrice, you do not need to overthink it, in fact. Emilia, and while we are at it, Roswell, cannot have their true identities exposed, I suppose. So Betty and the rest will altogether falsify our backgrounds. Then, to the question of who sits at the center of Betty and company for the lie we tell, the answer is Frederica. The two of Petra and Beatrice-sama, correct. Emilia, I get it. We'll say Petra-chan and Beatrice are close sisters, and we'll lie that we're their bodyguards and slip quietly into the Empire. Having it explained simply, Emilia at last managed to catch up in understanding. At the same time, she was impressed at how well thought out the plan was. Emilia, Patrash-chan is worried about Subaru too, and if we took her along, since she's a really beautiful ground dragon, people would take it the wrong way. Frederica, considering the long journey, we also cannot carelessly use a cheap dragon carriage. So that our affiliation will not be known, we have had a new one prepared through the help of the Suin Company. Beatrice, in that case, we should leave unhidden the part about this being the journey of an influential person. In fact, the strategy is to conceal only the identity of that influential person, and who the truly important one actually is, I suppose. Emilia, really smart. Was it Roswell who came up with this plan? Otto-kun. Frederica, let us say it is the crystallization of both of their craftiness. With a hand to her lips and an elegant smile, she looked like the usual Frederica. From that impression and her answer, Emilia felt reassured. The two whom Emilia thought ranked first and second in wisdom within their camp were very good at thinking about such things, and if those two had cooperated, she could trust it. Therefore, Beatrice, if Otto thought it up together as well, then we need not worry about Roswell putting in any mischief, I suppose. We can feel at ease, in fact. And Emilia agreed with Beatrice's remark, too. And then, before they knew it, preparations advanced in a short span of time, and the morning of departure arrived. At the entrance of the Suin Company, which had taken care of them for several days, there were 2 dragon carriages, inconspicuous yet sturdy, readied for this illegal entry and waiting with imposing air. Each would be pulled by 2 ground dragons, Patrash and Frufu, reliable companions who would accompany Emilia and the others wherever their harsh journey led. Otto, Frufu, for her part, is saying, please don't make an old lady go on a long trip, though. Emilia, Frufu-chan is elderly. Otto, she only says that. She's always had a tendency to be a bit lazy. Saying so, Otto gave a wry smile as he stroked his beloved dragon's neck. Blessed with the divine protection of the soul of language, Otto could speak with any living creature, and he got along very well with his dear Frufu. It was heartwarming to see. Otto, Emilia-sama, you also got along well with the great spirit with whom you're contracted, didn't you? I have yet to speak with him myself, but… Emilia. Yes, I think we'll be able to meet him before long, but I'm sure Puck will get along with you too, Otto-kun. Puck's the kind of child who can get along with anyone. Ram has some slight objections to that assessment. Just then, Ram cut in like that while Emilia was talking with Otto. Having finished her travel preparations, Ram, like Frederica the day before, was dressed for the road in a way that wouldn't be recognized as a maid. Since Otto and Garfield were in their usual clothes, that felt fresh. Emilia, but I might have gotten used to seeing Ram not in a maid outfit, since we've been together like that for a while. Ram, that may be so. Ram, in fact, has forgotten all the duties of a maid. Otto, isn't that a matter entirely unrelated to your clothing? Ram, HMPH. Snorting through her nose, Ram dismissed Otto's words. Having his words tossed aside, Otto shrugged his shoulders, and Emilia gave a small laugh at the two's back and forth. Meanwhile, the others also started gathering one after another around the dragon carriages. Petra, Emilia-sama, are you ready? Trotting over as she said that was Petra, clad in a fluffy outfit. Though it didn't use as much fabric as a dress, it was a combination that seemed to mix cuteness, ease of movement, and elegance as hard as she could, showcasing her stylishness perfectly. Emilia, yes, I'm just fine. Petra-chan, you look really cute yourself. You give off the feeling of a young lady, it's very lovely. Petra, thank you very much. I have to properly look like Beatrice-chan's older sister, and like your mistress, sister, and everyone else's. Clenching both fists tight, Petra's enthusiasm was most reassuring. Her desire to bring Subaru and the others home was strong, and Emilia was also encouraged by Petra's attitude. That delicate girl with the cherry blossom pink cheeks would, from here on, take the position of Emilia and the others' mistress. Emilia felt a surge of determination that she must protect her properly. Garfield, gettin' all fired up's a good thing, Petra-sama. Long as you handle sittin', they're all calm like nice and easy, the rest of us'll guard you proper. Ram, yes, do it properly. To begin with, if Garf hadn't been slacking off in the Watergate City, the situation at the tower should have been settled more easily. Garfield, Garfield, rolling his shoulders, wilted at Ram's words. But as Emilia saw it, Ram's words meant that if Garfield had been there, he would have been dependable, so there was no reason for him to be dejected. And, Emilia, you're coming with us this time. I'm counting on you, Garfield. Together, let's do our best to take Subaru and the others back. First, protect Petra-sama properly. Garfield, all right, Emilia-sama. Emily. Falling into step with the downcast Garfield, Emilia gave a firm nod with a yeah. And among everyone gathering around the carriages, the last to arrive was a tall figure. With his usual makeup removed and his long indigo hair tied back, the man shed his fluttery, fabric-heavy clothing and donned a butler's suit like Clind, Roswal. Like Emilia, Roswal, concealing his identity, bowed deeply and said, Roswal, it seems we are already all present. How wonderful. Petra-sama, are your preparations complete? Petra, Garf-san loaded our luggage and Otto-san's family helped us get ready, so we're fine. You make sure you're proper on your end too, Dudley. Roswal, yes, most reassuring. Precisely so. Now then. Called by his alias Dudley by Petra, who was already acting as the party's mistress, Roswal's smile deepened, and his gaze, those mismatched eyes of his, turned to Emilia. And just like that, everyone else's eyes gathered on Emilia as well. Beatrice. Emilia, before we depart, before you become Emily, give us a few words, I suppose. So said Beatrice, explaining the reason for the attention, as Frederica held her in her arms beside the dragon carriage. From here on, the group would enter the Empire as a party centered on Petra. But before they became that fabricated group, at this point, the one in the center was Emilia. It was none other than Emilia who had insisted that they would go to save Subaru and the others herself, without leaving it to anyone else. Emilia. Everyone, first of all, Thank you for lending me your strength. You even listened to my selfishness and prepared all this like this. I felt really, really blessed. In a situation like this, with Subaru and Rem perhaps in danger right now, and her heart constantly worried and flustered, she didn't know if it was right to feel that way. But still. Emilia. Of course, Beatrice, who worries most about Subaru and Ram as well. Otto-kun, who mustered the courage to return to his hometown. Petra-chan, who took on a difficult role. Garfield and Frederica, who are lending their strength as usual. And also, he's keeping a calm face, but Roswal, who worked so hard making the arrangements. Everyone gathered there, and in particular Roswal, who had been named last, slightly raised an eyebrow. Emilia could not even imagine how much the usually easygoing Roswal had run around to get everything ready so that he and Emilia could go to the Empire. But within the scope she could imagine, she thought he had probably done the hardest thing, and so she was grateful. Emilia, my knight and Rem, a precious comrade I still haven't been able to speak to even once, were flung far, far away to the Southern Empire, and I think I was the most flustered I've ever been in my life. If I had been alone, I'm sure I would have been so at a loss that my eyes would have been spinning. But because everyone blazed the trail, we have today. Time and again, Emilia keenly felt that she could do nothing by herself. And yet she couldn't feel that as frustrating or pitiable, and she felt a little proud of herself for that. It was thanks to Emilia's knight, who wasn't here, that she could feel that way. Emilia. So let's go to bring Subaru and the others home. If everyone's here, it'll surely be all right. From this time, I was able to feel that way. To keep on facing troubles and problems like this, and to keep on living together with everyone from here on. As the big, big first step for that, Emilia. Everyone, let's do our best at illegal entry. Beatrice. That rallying cry sounds far too bad to onlookers, in fact. At Emilia's spirited call, Beatrice's high voice rang out like that. And thus, Emilia's camp set off on a journey to search for the missing knight and the young girl who was their comrade. Even if their path was full of unease and nail-biting, as the great nation awaited them ahead, their feet would not halt. Beyond this, someone very, very important was waiting. There was not a single reason to hesitate. End.